Okay, everybody. Well, welcome back to the Sean Lay Podcast episode. Gosh, I always freaking do this. I think we're on 337 here, guys. For some and 337 times in a row, we still feel the need to announce which number we're on. But I digress because I will say that this episode has been a long time coming. This has been something I've been thinking about for a really long time, and it's something that I've been working on. And for those of you who have been following along this journey, this crazy wild journey that we're on, uh, if there was anything that the people who have been here with me from the beginning would say about this podcast is that the number one focus has been on the psychology of the entrepreneur, the psychology of running a business, and I certainly would agree with that because that has truly been the focus. And the other day, I was telling the story about how I first realized that the psychology was the thing that was getting in my way. And I told the story of how I was sitting on my couch and I was thinking about all of the things that were getting in the way of my business success and the things that were preventing me from being as successful as I knew that I could be. Things like Netflix, things like social media, things like video games. These are all things that we all deal with. And I know that you listening to this, watching this right now, you deal with the exact same thing. And the intriguing part about it is how challenging it is to overcome, because this is not news to anyone. This is not something that you've never heard before. And if it were simply easy enough to just flip a switch and turn on your mental toughness, I think that a lot of people would do that. I think that at the very least, more people would do that. And I don't know where in the last 24 hours that this clicked, but it clicked. It clicked last night, and I had the thought, and I thought back to when I took Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, and one of his quotes, roughly, was, "The quality of your emotions is the quality of your life." The quality of your emotions dictates the quality of your life. And I sat there and I thought about that, and it made a lot of sense to me, because when I think back to how difficult it was for me to change, I think about what was actually difficult about that. And I think back and I think about all my clients and the clients that have a hard time making changes. And we all have a hard time making changes. And I think about like why that is. And it's emotion. The hardest thing for us to overcome is the emotion, the compelling drive to do things that we know do not serve us. I know that when I walk into my kitchen, there are brownies on top of my refrigerator that I am going to want to eat. When I lay eyes on them, my emotions will start revving up inside of my body, and it will become very difficult for me to do that, for me to not eat the brownies. And that's because I have emotional pull towards it. We all know that. We all know the feeling of the commercial break kicking on and the gravitational pull to our cell phone so that we can check things and be entertained and get that dopamine release. We all understand that. But we also understand the challenges of going on a diet, right? And we understand that when we go on a diet, the lure, the emotional pull, it's not logic that's pulling us in that direction. It's the emotional pull. It's those built-in mechanisms that are pulling us into certain directions, right? And when we think about the things that don't serve our business, the procrastination on lead generation, the unwillingness, the fear over doing the things that are necessary and doing whatever it takes, it's not the logic, it's not the strategy that you're really after. It's how do I overcome that emotional pull, that emotional gravity. That's really what we're after. So when Tony Robbins says the quality of your life, the quality of your life is directly correlated to the quality of your emotions. Your emotions dictate your life. That's exactly what it's saying, because the hardest thing for any human being to do is to overcome that internal gravity towards those things that don't serve us. Our emotions are built-in strategies. They're built-in mechanisms for us to meet our human needs. One of our 6 human needs that Tony Robbins also talks about: certainty, uncertainty, love and connection, significance, growth, and contribution. Those emotions are strategies that are like our internal regulators to make sure that we stay on course to following the strategies to that what we know will meet those needs. And it's the emotions. I want really badly for the people listening to this podcast, for the people that are watching this on Instagram, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, I want really badly for you to start remembering those moments of gravitational pull, that emotional pull, when you know you have to post more on Instagram to help your business, when you know you have to engage more with your business, when you know you have to do some maybe door-to-door selling or hop on a sales call or increase your prices. But the fear, the emotional pull pulls you away from that. And you eventually go with that. And that's not necessarily something to be ashamed of, because we are all there. And certain people have different emotional pulls in different directions. But when we get down to that level, when we really understand that it is the emotions that are pulling you away from that, we understand that the only thing that we really need to fix in that case is not your strategy, is not the marketing scheme, none of that stuff. What we really need to fix is your emotions. We need to understand how to cultivate that emotional science to pull you in the right direction, which is cool, because this is a lot of the things that I have talked about from a strength and conditioning side, in terms of the neocortex and neurology and allostasis and things like that, and how it all really ties together, and building neuro associations, right? If I know that I have to raise my prices and I start thinking about that, my brain is going to have some associations as to what that is going to mean, what the consequences of that action are going to mean. It might give me fear. It might make me not want to do that. The emotions are going to try to divert me from doing that, because of the pain that it might cause, or the fear that I might have from doing that, or the potential consequence of losing customers, or something like that, right? But in reality, that's the only way that my business can succeed. On the flip side, if I was able to cultivate some system where my emotions were compelling me towards that, saying like, holy crap, like think about all the people that I can help. The higher my prices, the more committed the clients, the happier my work life will be, the more likely they will to be able to get a result because of their commitment level. I might be far more compelled to have that conversation. And that's what's interesting. And the beauty of the body is that we're malleable. We can make those changes. We can consciously decide how our emotions will guide us. And that's awesome. Now, it's not easy, but it's awesome. We can just reinforce it over time. Repetition is the mother of skill. And emotion, the more emotion that you can find, the better the further along that can go. I find that what I'm speaking is highly logical right now. And I'm sure there's some people that are getting it. And I'm also sure that there are some people that are not getting it. But at the very least, I hope that you can recall a moment in your life and a moment in your business career where you knew doing something was not going to serve you as well as maybe doing something else, or maybe not. Maybe it was your emotions were pulling you away from something you knew was going to be effective, and you found a way to comfort yourself in the the busy work of something else, or something along those lines. I hope that you can remember a moment in your career where that was a reality, and you can understand how, if I were able to switch the emotions, everything would change. Correct the emotions, correct the business. I hope that you can see how correcting the emotions would make that change. I'm also hoping that if you have been with me for some extended period of time, that you're also starting to see that strategies aren't necessarily the thing. Now, there are strategies that exist to increase LTVs, and marketing strategies and sales strategies. All of that does in fact exist, but nothing exists at the level of psychology and emotion. Emotion, all that stuff is the vast majority of business success. And I hope that you're starting to, at the very least, question and wonder whether that is actually the reality of it or not. And that's truly what I hope for this episode. So, like I've said, for 337 episodes, what this podcast is telling you the lessons that I'm currently learning, and I am currently learning that. And what I've decided was that I need to find a way to dictate my emotions and try to use my emotions to my advantage, to cultivate a system that my emotions actually compel me and move me towards the things that move me towards my ultimate goals, instead of video games, Netflix, and social media and all those things. So my strategy that I'm going to implement to do that is I'm going to what I'm calling laying bricks every single day. And I'm going to, for those of you who are watching on video, I'm going to show you a picture here. So this is my planner, and I'm literally laying bricks every day. And this is what I'm doing. I'm going to build up a level once I get up to the top. And these are the bricks that I'm laying today. And each brick is 3 minutes of focus. It's 3 minutes of focus on what I need to do in order to achieve what I want to achieve. It's 3 minutes of focus on what it's going to be like, the things that I'll be able to do, the places I'll go, the cars I'll be able to drive, the things I'll be able to purchase, really thinking about that and searching, digging for some type of sensation, some feeling, some emotion about how great that's going to feel. And it's difficult. I'm getting like a very small ember of emotion when I'm really trying to force it out of myself. But I think that that's normal. I think that that's what it's supposed to be like. I think that's what what you should expect it to be like. If I haven't done that, it's hard to maintain the focus. So every time I sit down for 3 minutes and think about it, I mark it off. When I read Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how you need to dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to that task. And I was doing it for 30 minutes, but that's really hard. My mind's all over the place in 30 minutes. So for 3 minutes, I can really sit down and I can focus, and then I can lay a brick. I'm going to try to lay down at least 10 bricks a day. And the way that I see it is I'm diverting the water flow of my energy, my thoughts, and my emotions. And every time I lay a brick, I'm building a dam, and I'm building a dam, and I'm building a dam. And eventually I'm going to get to a point where the water flow is going to change directions and hopefully start taking my raft to the directions that I want it to go. But it's brick by brick by brick, 3 minutes at a time, really trying to find that emotion and then trying to cement that into the system. It is my hope that this is resonating with you. This is one of those things where I don't necessarily know how many people this will affect and how many people that will really be able to take something away from this. But I do know the power of it. And I think that deep down, we all know the power of it. And I think we all know that if we were really able to fix the mind, we would be able to fix a whole heck of a lot more. And I hope that this is helping somebody. And that's really all that I can hope for. So with that, we'll end this episode of the podcast. Please comment, please subscribe, leave us a review, tell your friends, share it on social media, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the next episode of the Sean Light Podcast. Have a great day, everyone.